What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Misfits of HVAC live stream and podcast. Thanks for coming around every Saturday night, guys. Everyone out in the chat, thanks. Jennifer, how are
Hey,
you?
Rye. I'm doing good. Doing good. Better than last week. Feeling better.
Oh, you look good as always. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm super
How you doing?
excited to be back on a Saturday night. We
Yeah,
got a good guest this week. Mr.
we
Chris
do.
Stevens. Let me say a little bit about Chris here, real quick. Not only is he a great guy, but he's this dude works nonstop. He's got the YouTube channel, the Monday night live stream. He also live streams with the HVAC overtime guys every Friday night. Started his own podcast and runs his own damn business. And I believe he has a wife and two girls.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, help.
He
Help
actually
this
had a
man.
podcast with his wife.
Yeah, I've seen a couple
Yeah.
videos where he had his wife on. They were talking about life with the HVAC guy and the whole family dynamic, but that's
Yeah.
awesome. So let's introduce and bring on Chris, Mr. HVACR videos.
Hey.
What is up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Chris,
How
how
are
are
you?
you?
I'm alive. I'm a little bit like I don't know, I'm out of my element right now because half my family's out of town. So my
Aw.
wife and my youngest daughter are in North Carolina right now. They're gonna be there till like next Saturday. So it's just me and my
Wow.
17-year-old who like just isn't even here. Like she's at
Yeah.
the beach right now. She just like comes and floats around. Like, so I'm just by myself with two dogs. Like, what do I do? I'm lost. I'm like, what do I eat for dinner? I'm sick of eating fast food and eating out. I'm like, I need like real food. Like I need the crazy back is what I need. So
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes having the craziness. My family will go away on a day trip if I'm on call and I've got to stick around close to the house. And I'm like walking around like, where is everybody?
Yeah.
But I forgot to mention, too, on top of all those things Chris is doing, he's also redoing his complete HVAC system in his house.
yeah, that is just clusterfuck, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Aren't they all?
my own issues. Like speaking of that, so I was getting ready to go run some errands today. I needed to run to Best Buy, Home Depot, a couple little things, and I'm walking down my hallway and I hear this noise and I'm like listening to my air conditioner run and something doesn't sound right. Like it was rattling and it's those weird things you hear it every day. You're like, what the heck? So if you could pull up that picture, Ryan.
Oh.
I get in there and my evaporator coil
Oh, damn.
is completely plugged.
What
I
the
knew
hell?
this day was coming. I've lived here for like 10 years and I've never cleaned it. And I've been wondering about it.
Oh.
Oh my God.
I pulled that out of my own evaporator coil. Like,
That's a whole raccoon.
yeah,
Come
for
on,
sure.
Chris.
So the new rule when my family gets home is shower caps. They cannot walk through the house without a shower cap all the time. My daughters have to have shower caps, and the dogs are wrapped in bubble wrap, and that's it. Like I'm done. I'm done.
Wow.
I'm done with hair. Seriously, I don't know how my wife does it. I see the craziness, but we were smart and decided that we wanted to get an Australian Shepherd. Like, I don't know what the hell we were thinking, right? I cleaned up the
Shedding.
hair yesterday and I wake up this morning and it's everywhere. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't even get
It's
it.
bad.
I need my wife back. I need her
That's
back.
I need
hilarious.
my wife back. I love it. That's awesome. That is such a refreshing change from Cooler Heads this morning. So I'm really glad I came to my own podcast tonight.
Oh,
So, what?
wait. I have to address something, Jennifer. I have to address my bad haircut. No, my bad haircut is receding hairlines. Okay. If they straighten that up, then my forehead gets bigger. Okay.
No, I was saying you got lined up like 50 Cent.
Oh, I thought you were making fun of my freaking lineup right here. And I'm like, no, if I make that straight, then my forehead gets bigger.
No, I'm like, everybody asked me how I feel about it because I'm all about the majestic hair.
Mm.
So I said, I like his lineup. It looks just like 50 Cent.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, speaking
So
of
I like
receding
it.
hairlines,
It's summer.
mine started going at like 24. I was like, oh man, what's going on here? I went a
Yeah.
little short, and then it just bald happened.
Yeah. My
I
dad did the same. My dad had exactly the same hair. Like he had this crazy Sicilian hair my whole life. And then like at like 35, he started to go bald. And I was like, how? And now he's literally like turtle wax straight up.
you
It's
know,
Yeah.
it's
crazy.
in my family. My family doesn't have a lot of hair, but like mine just keeps growing. Like 2 years ago, I just decided, hey, I want to grow my hair out, and then it just like got super long, and I'm like, wow, I can still do it, but okay, let's just shave it again. You know, I just
It was
last week.
super thick too.
Oh
It
yeah, my
was
hair's
like you
like
could tell, like
seriously.
every time you put your hand through it, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Not
It's
only
hot
is
though.
this guy a prolific HVAC YouTuber, business owner, doing it all. He's got it all. He also has a full head of beautiful hair. Thanks a lot, Chris. You're making me feel real good about myself over here right now.
I don't want like I must be like spreading some bad information because I'm not making this all work. Like inside my brain is just like a dumpster fire. Like I don't know how
We
I'm
all feel
doing
that
this.
way.
And every day I'm like, why do I do all this stuff?
Hmm.
I don't know what I'm thinking. Like I want to go work for someone. Like I at least once a month I think screw this. I'm closing the business and I'm just going to go collect 40 hours a week. Like that's what I'm going
Yep.
to do. I'm just going to go work for someone and my wife's like you would never be able to do that. And I'm like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably right. Like
Val like
Well, you
threatens
know,
me with it all the time. He'll be like, I'm going back to work. That's it. We can't do this anymore. And then like the next day we get up and go to work.
yeah.
We all feel
well, I
that
can,
way.
if I can interject here real quick, I can tell you there's a
Sure.
lot of people out there that find immense and incredible benefit from your videos.
Mm.
A lot of people learning from what you're doing. You're putting out high quality, top notch content, and it's really like I don't know the exact words because I'm not the best wordsmith, but it's very good content. You're an industry leader in a way. You know, you're showing the proper ways of doing things and in a relatable sense, so people can watch your videos and it's inspiring. It really is. You've inspired me over the years I've been watching you, and for new and young and even seasoned veterans in this business, watching Chris's videos is a good they're just great videos, and you're a good guy, so don't sell yourself short. The videos are awesome, man. Like it's a
On the
benefit to
outside,
anybody
it's
who's
great.
watching them, right?
I'm getting this
Yeah.
little weird
Absolutely.
fuzzy feeling in my tummy, and I don't know if I like it. It's kind of weird, you know. No, like thank you for the nice words. Like you know,
Yep.
genuinely though, like I'm I'm not trying to be anything special, and I'm just a normal service technician. I think I just try my best to show that I'm real and that I'm trying to do my best, but that nobody's perfect and I'm never perfect, and I know there's much smarter the people than I. They just don't happen to be picking up cameras like I am. Like
Sure.
I'm just showing what I can, you know.
No, it's awesome. It's a good thing. It's putting HVAC in the forefront and highlighting it and letting people
Right.
see it. And it's cool. It's
I
cool.
think
In a
that
cool
it's
So
way,
important
right?
because there's you know there's classroom education and there's real world stuff, and I try my best to
Right.
mix the two of them, you know, being practical. Like I try to be real and I try to show people, you know, yeah, I try to pull a vacuum through hoses and no manifold, but I also pull a vacuum through a manifold every once in a while because there's a time and
Mhm.
place for both. Like sometimes you
Yeah.
can't be perfect, you know. I don't always purge with nitrogen. I try to, and if I don't, I'm saying like, man, I really should be doing
I
this, and I
forgot.
make sure I'm vocal about it. But
Yeah.
you can't always do that, you know. And I think it's really important that I think more of the schools, more of the educators need to be a little bit more real and showing
Yeah.
more of the reality of things. Um, and another thing, I think a lot of the educators and a lot of the service technicians also need to be open to the fact that they are wrong sometimes. I'm wrong
Yes.
sometimes, and I'm okay with it. Like, correct me, send me an email, leave me a comment,
Right.
let me know that I screwed something up.
So I
Don't
can
be a
learn.
jerk about it, but let me know, and let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Maybe I can learn something. You know, we
You
all need
know,
to be open to that.
a lot of times I'll talk with my boss and he'll say, "Hey, you got to go back on this. Something happened over here. It's not quite right," or whatever the case may be. And I'll say, "Well, did you let them know?" And they're like, "No." And I was like, "Well, dude, you got to at
Hmm.
least let them know."
I
I'm
hate
not
that.
saying let's like, you
Go
know,
take blame, but
let's not scream at them, but people
No,
yeah.
need to understand if I go out and screw something up, I want to know about it. You know, I don't want
Yeah.
just it to get cleaned up and kind of pushed away. So
So
taking
don't do it again.
accountability is also, a great thing.
Yeah, it is.
It,
But there's another aspect to it too, because I see both sides of that, because I am the person that has to go out and fix things. And I also am the person that has to have conversations with people like, hey, you know what?
Exactly.
So
Same
there's
here.
times that I'm like, this is just, I'm beating my head like with this one, like, dude, how many times have I told you this? Like, you got to stop this. And there is times that I'm just like, I don't even want to talk about it right now. Like, I'm just going to go fix it. But then I try as much as I can to have conversations. But then sometimes it's just like, there's so much going on that it's like, I just can't, I can't even,
Yeah.
I don't even have the mental capacity to reprimand that person right now. And we're just going to move on with this and try to
I'm
not
learning.
put
I'm
them in
learning
those
how to do that.
perfect things. It's
Like
a give and
I have
take. Like,
one employee, so I'm learning how I do find myself, I keep saying, you have access to some of the best HVAC training in the world right now. Like HVAC training that people are dying for right now to get a hold of, and you have access to that every single day. There's no excuse for this, But it is hard to be the good guy and the bad guy, I think. And be a tech yourself and be out in the field. And, I'm thinking I have to keep constantly thinking, like, if I screw it up, I'm gonna have to take that consequence for it. So if he screws it up, he needs to too.
yeah,
But yeah.
it's
well,
it's
maybe
it's a challenge. So
Yeah.
maybe that's where I don't see it as a business owner, but I'm like, hey, if something needs addressed, let's address it. Can do it
Yeah.
tactfully and not like
Mhm.
and
make
I
somebody
agree.
feel bad, but
I
let's like get to the root of the problem here, else it's just going to keep happening.
I
Yeah.
agree, but there's also some people that just don't change. So it's
Right.
a balance of trying to find that. Of course, you want to educate people. Of course, you want to make them better. Of course, you want them to do better because they make you money, they make you more successful, and as a team, you guys can grow together. So that is the primary goal. But there's also times, like, I'm just being real. Like, there's times
Yeah.
that it's just like, you know what, this person's just not going to get this. Like,
Exactly.
we'll just keep them off those particular jobs. And there's certain people that I send to certain tasks. I was just talking
Yeah.
with my former apprentice, because he's not an apprentice anymore. He's I don't know what you would call him. He's his own service technician,
Full-fledged
right?
service tech.
Yeah,
A lead.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, he's still learning. But I mean, I just told him the other day, I said, look, I said, I don't want to sound all weird and warm and fuzzy and stuff, but I said, I just got to tell you, like, you're doing great. Like, you really
That's
are.
awesome.
And I said, I know there's times that and he's never told me this, but I'm just telling him. I said, I know there's times that you feel like I'm putting you in situations where you shouldn't be. But I said, trust me, I know your skills and I know your abilities, and I'm not going to put you in a position that I don't think you can handle. So
Right.
I said, just keep that in the back of your mind. When you feel frustrated and overwhelmed,
That's growth.
listen to what I've told you, and stop, take a step back, think about it. And remember, I wouldn't have put you in that position. Like, because my guys report to me all the time. I expect them, hey, dude, I at least need to hear from you every hour. Like, just give me a heads up. Like, hey,
Wow.
everything's going great. Everything's going great. Okay, cool. Right on. Move on. I don't expect a full rundown, but I just need an update. Like, give me a call. Let me know how everything's going. And I said, I need to know when you're having struggles, and, I need to know when you're having a hard time, so that way we can work on it. We can, because as a business owner, there's another aspect to it. If my customer sees weakness in my employees, that reflects badly on the company, and it reflects badly on the employee,
Yes.
So if I can help them before they get into that bad situation and guide them and, make them better, I try to. So
Absolutely.
And that's the difference between a boss and a leader right there, I think.
maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that I know that there's things that I do wrong every day. I 100%
sure.
know that I'm a bad boss in a lot of different ways. So I try. I just
Absolutely. But the fact that you're asking them to talk to you, and like, I've worked for a shitty boss, a really
Yeah.
shitty boss. And let me tell you, there was never a time where he would have wanted to know what was going on with us, or, it was always like blame, anybody but our company. And like, it was horrible. But yeah,
Yeah.
I will say that I've seen both sides. And like, what I try to be is kind of what you're saying, is I try to just work with them as much as I can and be on their level. I
Yeah.
think that's important.
Yeah, we have a second-year apprentice that I actually turned on to you, Jennifer. I said, "Hey, Ryan," because his name's Ryan too, but
Nice.
he's going through the union apprenticeship and he's learning, but he feels like he's not learning quite enough. And I said, "You should check out Jennifer and her program." I said, "I'll talk to her and maybe we can send some info your way." But he's been getting sent out on smaller jobs on his own, and he's been figuring things out. And as we're driving, he's like, "Hey," he's like, "Yeah, I kind of got it now." And I was like, well, that's half the problem right there, because people that don't get, if you're not sent out on it, you don't kind of see it yourself, and somebody's always doing it, you're watching them do it. There's something
That's
to
so
be
hard
said
to learn
about
that way.
something to be said about having a little pressure applied to you and actually having to figure it out.
And that's a
That
great
makes you
point.
learn.
That's a great
That's how I
point.
learned.
If you don't mind, Jason Johnson has a good point in the comments too. He says too much confidence can be just as bad as not having
Mhm.
enough. There's a
Bingo.
fine line it takes to be humble yet confident. And I agree with that. And that kind of goes with what you're saying, Ryan. And I also, I explain it as you need to have a little fear. You need to be on a job and you need
Yes.
to be like a little, I'm afraid I'm going to screw this up, because that keeps you on your toes. You don't
And
want to
that's
be
where the problem solving
Yeah.
skills come in.
You don't want to be too confident, and getting into those positions where you've got your back against a wall and you're afraid to tell the customer you don't know what you're doing. And you're like, what do I do? What do I do? And then you stop, you take a breather, you think about it, and you realize, and this is what I tell people a lot of times too. If you're struggling, if something's really difficult, 99% of the time, you're just missing something. You're doing something
Yep.
wrong.
Yeah.
I know there's that very small
Exactly.
percentage of a ridiculously engineered product and it's just dumb, but most of the time you're just skipping a step. You're missing something. So just
Sure.
slow down, take a step
Yeah,
back,
no,
and think about
taking a
Walk
step
away.
back, calling
Yes.
somebody,
it.
even
Yes. Yeah.
even just saying, like, I'll still call somebody. I'll call my buddy TJ that I work with, and I'll say, "This is what I got." And a lot of times, just talking it through, maybe
You're working it
thinking,
out.
like, not being right in front of it, sweating and looking.
Yes.
You're like, "Let me go check that. I didn't think about that." And then half the time,
Mhm.
there's your problem, and things progress from there.
And that doesn't mean that
Yep.
you're a bad tech. That means you're a good tech, because you're
Yeah.
willing
Right.
to take a lifeline. You're willing to ask for
Yeah.
help. You're willing. And it's not so much that that person's telling you how to do your job. They're just saying, hey, bro, you're missing a step. There's
Right, let's
nothing
work
wrong with
through
calling a
this
friend and say,
together.
what am I missing?
No, it's so easy to get on a path
Yep.
and
vision.
you
Tunnel
think,
vision.
and then you're going this way when the problem is obviously over here.
Yep.
And you're
Yep.
like, all you had to do was look right, and then whatever it is. Even in life, with my wife, half the time I'll be like, what the hell's going on? Had I just looked right, we'd be
There it was.
snuggling in bed right now instead of me being out in the garage violently cleaning the garage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I will say too, I'm glad you brought that up though, Ryan, about like having to call someone just to work it through. Like they don't even
Yeah.
necessarily help you, but my tech support line. So we're 24/7, 365. And yesterday we got a lot of calls, a lot of them for some reason. I don't know if it was the heat or what, but we got a lot of
Yeah.
calls. And I will say, of the 8 that I took, probably 6 of those, they were working it out on their own. They were just using me, and I love that. A lot of them
I
were my
love that
students
too.
yesterday
I
too,
think
but
that is awesome. I think the whole I still haven't wrapped my mind completely around what it is you're doing. I know you're training and things, and you've got this tech support thing, but I think that's awesome that you're doing that. And
thanks.
that's why
I
I
got a lot of
suggested
people
it to
working
my-
on it now too.
That's
There's a lot
great.
of good
That's
HVAC
great.
techs on our tech support line right now.
So what is this tech
Great.
support though? Like what kind of tech support do you guys give? I mean, is it like basic
So-
tech support, or are you going in depth in
No,
things?
we go in depth. We'll sit on the phone for hours if we have to with another tech. It's pretty
Oh, okay.
awesome. So it started out with just the HVA chicks when HVA chicks was just chicks. And then as I expanded my training program for everybody, the tech support comes with that. And then I decided, well, why should only my students get tech support? Like I have friends who aren't my students who should be able to call too. So we expanded it to just every single HVAC tech in the country pretty much. And they call us every day. We have one number that rings to all of our phones, and whoever's day it is, they take it. I have 5 days a week or 4 days a week now. And then Dirk has a day, and then Misty has a day, and Val has a day. So yeah, it's just any
Yeah.
tech support for any HVAC system ever.
I'll take Thursdays between 6:30 and 7:30 p.m. That's it.
I would love that. Like literally anybody that wants to take 1 hour. I ran this.
1
So
hour
I ran
per
this.
week.
I ran this for a year by myself though, alone.
Yeah.
So like phone rings at 2 a.m. It was only me. Like, I'm so grateful to have other people answering that phone right now. Let me tell you. It's
That's
pretty
awesome.
Yep.
So everybody knows Chris. Everybody knows Chris's YouTube channel. How many I can't speak. How many subscribers are you up to now?
Something
gotta
over
be what?
100. Something over 100. I 160.
That's awesome.
I think.
That's awesome.
I don't know for sure. That's
That's,
one
Andy's
thing
an
that
award
as a
winner. We left that
as
out.
a content creator, I had to stop because it's really easy to get obsessed with the numbers. And so I don't know, about a year and a half ago, I was just like, I'm done paying attention to that crap. And it was really hard to let it go because
Yeah.
you would want to like stare at your phone and how many subscribers, how many, and I just had to stop because it was consuming me. So I genuinely don't know. I think it's 160, but I don't know for sure. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, anything, I mean, that's a substantial amount of subscribers for an HVAC company or HVAC channel. You've recently, I mean, you do your Monday night live streams. You've kind of parlayed that into a podcast. You want to
Yeah.
plug the podcast at all?
I mean, yeah, I mean, on any of the HVAC platform, I mean, any of the podcast platforms, just look up HVACR podcast. It's really hard to find. It's there. On all social media platforms, it's HVACR videos. And all that the podcast is I'm not committing to anything. It's whenever I get the time, I'm going to do something with my friends. I'm going to do something by myself. I'll put something out there. I do not have a schedule on it. I do not have anything that I stick to. And then I turn my Monday night live streams into the podcast too. That's all I do. I
That's
just
awesome.
upload them on there when I get
You
a
might as
chance.
well. You
Yeah,
might as well.
Yep.
The live stream started as when I first started the YouTube channel, I was obsessed with everything and it was the comments. Like I would get so many comments and I felt the need to answer every comments. But then you put a video up and you get 200-300 comments a video. And it's like, there's no way I can get to all of these. But what I noticed was a lot of them were repetitive questions. So the live stream started as just answering the repetitive questions on the live
Address
stream.
them all at one time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I love
Well,
that
you-
about your live stream.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have an email, and if you reach out to me on Facebook, Osvaldo, I will give it to you.
And he's certainly all about business on his Monday night live stream. There's no joking around on the Monday night stream.
Yeah, I keep it as
I
clean
get 'em
as
sometimes.
possible. But
Yeah.
you know, the interesting thing, when I first started my videos, I started to get like an imposter syndrome feeling where I was making these videos and then I was like, this isn't really me. Like I make mistakes and I screw things up because I would edit out the mistakes.
Mhm.
And so
Yes.
then I started leaving the mistakes in. And then
Hmm.
when I do the live stream, I keep the live stream really clean. And the reason why I do that is because I realize that I have a lot of kids that watch my live stream. And that was a little bizarre at first when I found that out. But then you start getting emails from moms and they're like,
Yeah.
my 9-year-old son watches your videos and he loves them. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then you get that again and again and again. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I got to keep these like clean because kids watch them. So
Sure.
Right.
I still felt like I'm not a clean cut, straight laced person, you know, like that never says a bad word, that never does anything. So it's kind of hard because I spend so much time on this that it's not me. So when the
Right.
overtime show came about, it was like, okay, cool. This is a way
your
to be
outlet.
me and still have, you know, a clean live stream and a clean channel and be able to be real on that. So
Right.
That's awesome. I notice you're a big fan of the Sporlan catch-all and see-all combo. That's awesome. I love that.
well,
That's
you know,
a good
the-
little.
the whole thing with the Sporlan stuff is since I was a kid, my dad always used Sporlan products. And I grew up working for my dad. I started working for my dad. I learned everything from my dad, good and bad from my dad. And then I learned to adapt and, you know, take my own path and stuff. And he started the business that I run now. And, you know, he's still semi-involved in the business, like, but he's got 3 feet out the door, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, he comes in 2 days a week. He just goes in the office, does a little paperwork, bugs me on the phone, and then leaves, you know? And then so
Yeah.
I'm running everything, but you know, he started preaching Sporlan to me. So I got accustomed to using Sporlan products and really liked them.
Yeah.
And then
Me too.
just started, you know, using them all the time. And then the whole beginning part of my career, I remember my dad always used flares for everything. Like everything he did was flares, and I hated them because they always leaked. So I'm like,
Yeah.
every time I do a flare, they leak and it drives me nuts. So I just no flares whatsoever, no flares. But then I realized like I learned how to make a flare and I learned the key steps to it. And now I'm getting lazier as I get older. Some people may say I'm getting more, I don't know, whatever you want to say, but I call it lazy, right? So as much as I can, I try to use a flare dryer on the roof because
Yep.
majority of the time I'm fixing leaks down at the evaporator, and you got to drag
Sure.
your torches up on the roof to do, to change the
no
dryer. And I
problem.
just like, why don't I eliminate that step and put a flare dryer on the roof? So then I don't got to take my dang torches on the roof,
Yeah.
and I just pull up a vacuum.
Well, now we've got Zoom Lock too,
Yeah, we've
and
got
that's
all
still
the different
Sporlan.
press
So
stuff.
that's what
and-
I'm pushing right now for them.
Yeah.
I love the Zoom Lock.
Well,
So it's cool.
we use Sporlan products, Sporlan filter dryers. I don't do a ton of the refrigeration work like you do, where you're using the sight glass in the combo like that, but I definitely like it. We did have an extreme burnout though, where it was
wow.
plugging the filter dryer up so many times that we ended up putting into braised in
Ball
ball
valves.
cocks. Yep.
Yep.
And then we put the flare dryer in. That way we could just let it do its thing and go back and just swap out the filter dryer and let
swapping
it
'em out.
clean that. Yep. Keep swapping it out.
That is one good thing that those are good for.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like the Sporlan products. We also get the other ones, whatever. I get whatever's sent to me, but
Yeah, and
I like the videos for sure.
I don't want people to think that just because, and that's something I try to preach to everybody, you can use whatever product you need to use. As long as
Mhm.
you're changing a dryer when you
Yeah.
do a repair, that's all
Don't
that
leave it on
matters,
there.
right?
That's all I
The
care about.
brand that you choose. Now, there's things that I like about certain brands and, don't like about other brands, but that's my preference. And that's something that I try to tell people all the time when I make content. Just because I'm doing something one way doesn't mean that you have to do it the same way as me. We all have the ability. Hi, sweetie. So
He
we
says
all
hi.
we can all make our
Hi.
own.
Hi.
All right.
Hi.
Hey, sweet pea.
Get out of here.
That's cute. But yeah, like I don't want people to think that they have to use the same products that I use. I try not to like push stuff on my channel. I try to be more about, proper practices and, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. No, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great stuff. I had a point I was going to go to, but
And I probably
can't
threw you
remember.
off with one of my
Gone.
rants
I
as
can't
usual.
remember it.
So.
Tis gone.
so the podcast, the YouTube channel. Let's talk about the home HVAC renovation you're doing.
Yeah.
Where's the
So-
update on
I
that?
need updates.
So first off, the home project, I decided that I wanted to change the air conditioner in my house. And I've lived in this house for about 10 years, maybe just 11 years or something like that. We moved in here and I knew from the beginning that my existing system was oversized. But it's one of those things where I showed you guys at the beginning of the stream, my evaporator coil was plugged up today. My own system, as long as it's cooling, like I don't really
well.
put much effort into it. It's just kind of like whatever. So
me
I
too.
decided I wanted to change my own system, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go big on this. So I started going down the path of designing my own system and sizing it and trying to do everything by the book. And then I wanted to go down this home performance path. And I quickly realized like I was in way over my head. So I got
I love
help
it.
from a lot of really awesome people, right? And
Yeah, you did.
people helping me design. My good buddy Adam Muffitch from the Overtime
Yes.
Show is like
Yes.
instrumental to my home system design because he's just
He's a
He's a
smart
building
cookie,
science god.
isn't he?
Adam.
Yeah, he is.
Adam
He's
is
smart.
Adam is smarter than any of you guys think. Like it's
I know.
amazing. He's a very
know.
humble person, but that dude is like if you guys
When he sent
only
me his
knew-
article out of nowhere, I literally was just like, oh, okay, cool. And I open it. I'm like,
Yeah, if
Oh
you guys
my
only
God.
knew, like I can't even tell you some of the stuff he's working on because it's not
yeah.
allowed to be talked
he's
about yet.
NDA'd, yeah.
But that dude is doing some big stuff right now. He's making big plays in the industry. And
Yeah.
Good
super
for him.
smart dude, but he's helping me design the system. And then at the same time, I decided, you know what, I'm going to leverage this platform that I have. Right. And I'm like, I'm going to
Yeah.
reach out to some really big people. And, I got a hold of the Energy Conservatory and I got a hold of
Yes.
some other really awesome people and they're helping me and educating me. So I'm going a little stupid on my own system. Right. But I'm
It's a
attacking
good thing.
the envelope.
It's a
I'm
good thing.
attacking the building as a whole and I'm learning so much. Like we ran into
People
this
don't realize how
problem.
much the house matters.
Oh, 100%. I have a 4-ton air conditioner in my house right now. And then we did a load on my house. I corrected some envelope problems and
Yeah.
we came into my load. My new design is going to be a 2-ton system. So I'm splitting
That's
my system
exactly
in
how
half.
Steve Rogers' brother brother's house. We're doing that install.
Yeah.
We got the install too. And it
Yeah.
was literally oversized by an entire 2-ton system. It
Yep.
had two
And
2-tons. It only needed one.
and if I put a little bit more money into my envelope, my 2-ton's going to be oversized. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's amazing. And it's starting to open my eyes to how bad this industry is right now, as far
Mhm.
as people not understanding what's going on. Because when I post a video, I posted like a little short about hooking up a duck blaster to my new air handler, right? Because I'm going with the Carrier Infinity system and all this
Uh-huh.
stuff. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
this is the leakage that my system has. And I can't tell you how many emails and comments I got. You're stupid. That's negligible. Nobody cares about, 30 CFMs. And I'm like, okay, but here's the thing. I'm testing at 25 pascals, right? Well, 25 pascals doesn't necessarily equal the static pressure that my system's going to be running under. So the leakage is going to
Exactly.
intensify. And then what
Yep.
people don't think about is if you have duct leakage, right? So you're leaking on the supply side, your house is now going to go negative,
The
and it's going to
pressurization,
draw
yeah.
air from everywhere. It's going to draw air from outside. Well, if you live in Florida where you have 90% humidity, that
It's pulling water in.
100 CFMs of air that you're drawing into your house is now going to add a load to your house that's going to triple, the amount of
Humidity.
air that it's sucking in. It's amazing the stuff that I'm learning
Yeah.
from doing this home design. And
It is crazy too that like what you said about people just not understanding it at all. So like with Steve's brother, like he shouldn't have to hire somebody in Maine to come to Massachusetts to
Oh, yeah.
do his load calculation. And then on top of that, he got quotes from other companies using my load calculation, and they were so adamant that they were going to replace what was already there with what was already there that he just couldn't
Right.
even hire them. Like
Yeah.
I'm literally driving 3 hours and staying down there for 4 days to replace the system because that's how much negligence there is.
Yeah.
It's
And
ridiculous.
but to be fair, until I started doing this research, I would have replaced my 4-ton with a 4-ton. I would have
Mhm.
just, and you know what? I would have questioned. I mean,
Education curve.
well, the logic in your head thinks, well, I have a 4-ton, but it's also uncomfortable in some of my rooms, so maybe I need to go with a 5-ton. Like that's the
Yeah.
logic that we all used, and I used that in the past too, right? So
Yeah.
so I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I'm just learning. I'm just
Right, you're
learning,
taking
and
the
I'm
time to learn
realizing
it.
like, hey,
It's like
I
your eyes were opened a little bit.
100%,
Yeah.
And to admit
Wow.
that, we're all learning, you know?
yeah,
It's a good thing.
100%
Shit.
blows your mind.
Anybody
So
that's not learning anything on a daily basis, I mean, I've come ever since I started doing the YouTube thing and trying to feel a little more accountable for what
Yeah.
I'm putting out there, because I don't want to make a video and look like a complete fool. It's made
Yeah.
me a better technician. I'm nowhere near, I mean, you guys are great, but I've learned, I've humbled myself and been like, maybe I should be thinking more on what, I'm doing on a daily basis. So that's awesome. Growth is good in life,
Absolutely.
in work, in
yeah,
everything, in every aspect. You can
it
grow. It's
it
great.
is. And
I will agree with that too, Hausch.
Hausch's comment, I was just reading that. That's a
Yeah.
great one. Absolutely. I call it the Amazon effect, right? Amazon came in and they were the cheapest company out there. Everybody started buying everything from them. Then Amazon raised their prices. They are no longer the
Yes.
cheapest. They're convenient. That's all they are. They're the most expensive a lot of the times, but they're convenient
Yep.
and it's easy. I can open up an app and I can order it. Guess what? When I go and buy something from Amazon, you get a 30-day warranty or 30-day return policy, right? You can go buy something from someone else and you get a 90-day, 180-day return policy,
Yep.
but I still buy from Amazon all the time, right?
Convenience.
We are constantly demanding cheaper and cheaper. People complain about new equipment. People are complaining because I bought a Carrier Infinity. Oh, that's just junk. You paid for the name. I'm sure I did. Now,
So crazy though.
I get to do something different because I'm doing this as a business expense, right? So this is a little
Right.
bit different. This whole home project is a business expense. So
Yeah.
it's, I'm filming it, I'm having fun with it. So I know I'm going to have problems with my system, but it's like, cool. I get content out of it,
It's
right?
more content, right?
More content out of it, right? It's fun. It's, and I don't mind having to fix something. It's kind of fun. I want to see what kind of problems I run into, but
Yeah.
we demand cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. So manufacturers are making cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and the quality is going down because we demand everything to be cheaper. And so we're responsible for the quality of the equipment right now.
Quality.
It's not the manufacturers. You know, we blame the manufacturers. Oh, they're making cheap crap. No, it's because we don't want expensive crap.
It's because we're making them. Yeah.
Yep. 100%. So,
and like I think it was Housh that said, you know, free estimates, and people need to start charging for things. Like I wasn't charging for manual J's on systems where I got the install. So only in the last, few weeks, listening to the Grapevine guys and talking to Chris and Steve, did I realize how much of my time I was giving away for free, So now I'm charging for it. And I've noticed that people actually don't mind as much. A lot of the time, like in the circuit that we're in right now, people want their system to be right because there's so much of it not right out there.
yeah.
So I've noticed that people actually are more willing to pay, for that, as long as they know that you've done it right. So that's just a little tidbit for people who are running them. Don't do them for free.
I think that it's very important. There was a lady that reached out to me recently through a friend, and she bought a new home somewhere in Nevada, and she's having nothing but problems. And she's reaching out to me like I'm an expert, and I'm not. I'm not an expert in home performance or anything, but I know a little bit about a lot, right? So I'm just like, you want to get someone to come out and do a load calculation, run these different tests, and she's like, okay. So she started calling everybody in her neighborhood, similar to what you were saying earlier, Jennifer. She cannot find anybody to run a manual J and to measure this and to test this. And it's sad. It's sad that our industry's come to this, and, sure, you go to a big metropolitan area and you're going to have a lot of companies out there, right? There's a lot of competition, but you go to small rural areas and you get side job Bob, and that's all you have, so, I've always, winged it and guessed on this, and this works perfectly, but we've had to learn, it's not quite right.
Yeah. I just figured I should highlight this comment from Adam to Randy real quick, because it is Randy's birthday. and then Randy says, I just caught that and I had to throw it up on the screen for you guys.
Yep, for sure. That's funny.
Hilarious.
All right. So you're doing the home performance thing, the home replacement. You're still deep in the kitchens. Let me ask you this. I know there's a lot of content out there on YouTube. Who do you watch? What is your go-to when you're sitting back, relaxing, and maybe watching a little bit of HVAC YouTube content? What are you watching?
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I'm going to say right now that I actually don't watch a lot of HVAC content. Okay.
Gasp.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Right.
Clutch your pearls.
I don't, because I'm so consumed with, I don't have a lot of time that sometimes I just need to chill out. So surprisingly, the content that I watch on YouTube, and YouTube's the number one thing that I watch in my home. We have a bunch of streaming services, but every day when I come home, and when I get time to turn on the TV, I quickly go to YouTube and I watch travel channels, real life history channels.
Same.
It's history is one of my favorite channels right now.
Yeah.
Well, can I interject real quick? You turned me onto that guy who clears the storm drains years ago.
Which one's that? Post something or other.
Yeah, he clears storm drains. And let me tell you, Chris turned me onto this. I was like,
I
like
watch.
it. Yeah, the guy
he literally goes and clears storm drains. That's all he does. He goes to a culvert,
so soothing,
and clears a culvert. And
it's soothing because the water's building up. This dude's out on the side of the road in a yellow jacket. And he's like, if the city's not gonna do it, I'm gonna. And he clears the storm drain, and there it goes. The water goes. He's like a storm drain clearing vigilante. It's awesome.
So at the moment, of course, I have a lot of friends that make content, right? Of course, I have a lot of friends, and I'll support my friends all day long. There's Pat with Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. There's Rick with HVACR Survival. Hughesman, of course. There's a lot of people, and if you go to my channel, you can see like my subscribed channels for my content. You see typically who I watch, but I did just find one channel right now. Nobody knows about him, and he makes some awesome content when it comes to sheet metal work and duct design and duct sizing. The channel is called AGL Mechanical Tips. Okay, I believe
You
he's in
heard that.
Canada. Yeah,
I'm gonna
and
type it in the chat, guys.
yeah, AGL Mechanical Tips.
Mechanical Tips.
And I'm really liking this guy right now. He is a meticulous person. Like the video that caught my eye is how to wrap round duct, right? So you have round KD snap lock duct, and this
Yeah.
guy's telling you how to cut the insulation to perfectly with OCD meticulous qualities,
Yeah.
like how to make it perfect. And I'm like, holy crap, this dude is a craftsman, right? And so I'm really
I'll have to
digging his
check that
content
out.
right now.
We're
For
doing
sure.
a huge duct job right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
You guys
Val's
heard
been an
that.
installer for 30 years, but still, you can always get more tips. I put it in the chat for you guys too.
Yeah, definitely go check out that dude. I just found his channel like 2 days ago. So, you know, when you get deep in his channel and you find out he makes crap, I don't know, whatever. I've watched
No,
like
I've-
5 of his
disclaimer.
videos and I'm very impressed. And he's
I love
very
watching
well
sheet
produced
metal stuff.
content. So, but I watch a lot of travel stuff.
Yeah.
Personally, like families that travel. My family's everything, right? And I do a lot
Yeah.
with my family when I obviously get the time. So we're always watching travel stuff and
Sure.
families that travel in RVs across the country.
Yeah.
I
love
think
that
that's
stuff too.
something that I want to kind of do someday. So
Well, we
Val and I are
watched.
gonna buy a school bus and do that because we
you're gonna be
homeschool our kids.
schoolies,
And
huh?
yeah, so all of our big
Yes.
kids are already like, you know, in their 18s. And so we have the 2 little ones. So someday that's what we want to do. We want to travel around the country and do HVAC jobs, you know, like 3 weeks here, 3 months there, come back every few months, you know, whatever. Sounds fun.
That's awesome. We watch travel videos of places we're about to go. Like if we're going here, then like for the 3 months we're planning it, we watch videos on that place and stuff. So that's
That's what
awesome.
I should do. I should.
If you're interested in more channels for your family, one of my favorite travel channels, we have watched them probably for I'd say 10 years, is Keep Your Daydream. So KYD. Keep Your Daydream on YouTube. I've watched their kids grow up and go to college and leave the channel. Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
it's freaking insane.
I don't
dude.
have any channels that I've watched that long.
KYD is awesome. That one, my wife and I both like absolutely love that channel. You know, the interesting thing too that I find as a content creator, I recently realized that I've watched KYD for like 10 plus years, right? I've never commented on their channel. And it's that kind of stuff that like I appreciate the comments so much when people leave me a comment, and then I find myself being subscribed to these channels for so many years and I never leave a comment. Sometimes you just get so consumed with everything and you just don't even think about it.
That's awesome.
So what I will say is Val used to watch you, Chris. I mean, he still does, but Val always watched you. I mean, the whole time that I was not in HVAC and he was, I just remember always hearing your voice, always seeing you on the screen.
That was funny.
Loved watching you because it was a better way to learn for him, where he was so deep into the field, you know, watching somebody else that was. And so it was kind of like that. And then like I came into it and, you know, one thing has led to another, and like now you're on my live stream, you know. It's like it's crazy.
Funny.
I think you should interact because you never know what could come of that, you know.
Oh, I 100% need to. You know what else too? See, I've never said this on the air, but
do it. Come on, Mr. Special.
I think that if I could make it work, it would be amazing. So have any of you guys watched Ghost Town Living? Brent Underwood in Death Valley, California. He bought
I've heard about it. I haven't watched.
Seen it. Yes.
Okay.
I have.
Brent bought a ghost town, right? And I'm watching him explore the mines. He came from Austin, Texas. He moved to California. He bought a freaking ghost town for $1 million with his friends. And now he runs the ghost town and he's rebuilding it and redoing all this stuff. And I've had this idea in my head, like, we got to figure out a way. He's building a hotel on the ghost town, right? And it's like, dude, we got to figure out a way to go there and give him air conditioning, right? Like, we got to figure that one out. And like, he's got a YouTube channel. Like, we got to figure out how to do this, you know? Because
you're in the right position,
right?
If he was going to pick any YouTuber, it would be you.
It's about 5 or 6 hours from me. Now, in all reality, it's not practical. There's no way I could make this work, but I've been wanting to make
I do unpractical things all the time. Like I'm going to Boston for a residential install. Okay. Yeah. I think that's a great idea because that's the thing. He's a content creator. You're a content creator, and nobody has the amount of followers and subscribers that you have. So if you reached out, he'd be like, one Google search, you'd be like, all right, let's do it.
Oh, that dude's channel's 10 times as big as mine. Like it's mind blowing, but still it'd be fun to be able to help him out with that one.
Yeah.
That would be
such good content too.
Yeah. Cerro Gordo is
Millions
the
of
name of the
views.
ghost town too, by the way. So
I
What was
have
the
seen
show
that.
called? Ghost Town what?
Ghost Town Living is the name of the channel.
Living.
Yep.
I
have
gotta
seen
find
that.
this because that sounds so interesting.
Oh,
It was cool.
Yeah, I absolutely get lost in his content. When he goes down exploring a mine, he goes down 900 foot in a mine, rappelling by ropes. And then you think like all the stuff this dude rappels down into a mine, right? Sometimes he'll take a lift, but most of the time he rappels, and then he has to climb out.
Dude, screw that.
And you're like,
I-
holy crud, dude.
I've watched
Yeah.
some of these guys go down into caves and stuff, and in like underground rivers and up over
Oh.
rocks. Dude, hell no.
What about the
I wa-
story of
Yeah.
that dude that went in and he got stuck?
I saw that. I was like,
There's a
dude,
movie about it now.
Dude,
he's
he
still
got
there.
stuck upside down, and the blood rushed to his body, and it swelled up to the point that
Yeah.
they couldn't get him out.
they
And he
couldn't
got,
get him
like,
out.
He just laid there, and they just had to. Someone stayed with him until he died. Like,
And
Yeah.
he's still there.
yeah, he's still there. They
That's
Yeah, they
sealed
just
off,
couldn't even
cool.
get him out after.
sealed off
Yeah.
the cave. Yeah, that was one of the most popular caves, and it was a portion that nobody ever
Yeah.
goes in. And he just like, oh my gosh, that was
no
crazy.
thanks.
Come from the earth, back to the earth, I guess.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'll stay right here in my basement drinking beer on a live stream.
Mm.
I don't go no new caves.
Don't get me wrong. I'm
get no
exploring
mountains.
caves.
Yeah,
I love
not me.
cliff jumping. I am
Hell
like, I'm
no.
a super adventurer. Big
Not
time.
me.
That's my thing.
You know where I
Definitely my thing.
adventure is when I go to mow my backyard. I'm adventuring around the backyard.
So let
Loving
me ask you guys this. So one of my passions that I've had to forget and I really want to get back to is
I
like
hate hearing
outdoor
that.
stuff. I absolutely
Yeah.
love camping. I love backpacking. That's something that I discovered about 15 years ago, just
Mm-hmm.
disappearing for 3 days, just me and my dog with a
That's what I
backpack
do.
and just finding your way. I haven't done it in so long. Have you guys ever done that? Like
I do it
Jennifer,
all the
you said,
time.
yeah. What about
Yeah,
you, Ryan?
I do it all the time.
We've gone camping, with the family a few times. I'm not the outdoorsman.
Oh, see, I
At all.
absolutely, I put me in a position. So one time we went, me and my dog, I got off work super late because of a long day. I didn't get to leave till midnight, right? And then I had a 2-hour drive to this location I was going to. And then I had a 5-mile hike down a trail in the middle of the night with headlights.
shit.
And I had a headlight on my dog and we got lost. But the
Oh
whole
my
time I
God.
wasn't scared because I mean, I'm 3 hours from
It's fun.
civilization. Like it's no big deal,
Right.
like, what are you
Yeah.
going to do? But it was the coolest experience ever when that was done.
Absolutely.
And I was like, seriously, we got lost. And then in the morning, the sun came up and we realized we were only a half a mile from where we were supposed to go. Like it was no
Yeah.
big deal. But we slept in a hammock, right? I had hammocks and we tied up to a tree and I had my dog on my lap and it was so
That's the
uncomfortable. My
smartest way to
dog's
sleep.
arms were sticking in my chest and my
But
dog
you're
was
safe.
breathing on my face. But I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever, like it was the coolest thing ever. And I want to be able to
That's
do more
awesome.
of that. I haven't done it in years.
I do
but-
it all the time. So Val comes with me now. I have a place. It's called Mahoosic State Park, and it is hundreds of acres in the middle of Maine. And there's a place called Frenchman Hole there. It's an old quarry, like an old ancient quarry, and you can cliff jump there. I mean, it has everything, but they're primitive campsites. So basically, we just roll up. We camp on this side of this cliff with this waterfall, and we climb down onto the rocks. We cook our dinner right on the rocks and make a fire right down there, and there's like waterfalls all around us. It's amazing. But I go down there and explore a lot, and I could go there every day and I still wouldn't even make a dent in how much
Yeah.
there is to explore at this place.
So,
It's amazing. But
Here's
I
a
also
funny
grew up
story.
in Katahdin, so I'm used to
Before I started my
climbing.
YouTube channel, the first video I ever put on YouTube was going backpacking with my 6-year-old daughter. Okay.
Really?
I watched all these videos about this place that I was going to hike to, and it was a primitive campground. Like you had to reserve the campground, but you had a 3-mile hike into it, and there was no
Yeah.
driving to it. Right. So
Yeah, just
so
to make
it was
sure
like
they didn't
safe.
have a
They
bunch
had
of
pit
people there.
toilets, right? So I knew
Yeah.
for my daughter it was good. But the first video I ever put on YouTube. So I challenge anybody out there to go find that
find this.
video. Okay. Now someone actually found it one day. One of my viewers, someone local to Southern California, messaged and he left a comment on that video and he goes, "Chris, is this Chris from HVACR videos?" And I go, "Yep, it
That's
is."
awesome.
That is so great.
Yep.
I got.
So I
I'm,
have another
I'm
YouTube
down the rabbit
channel.
hole tonight.
Doesn't have barely any, like it probably has 10 subscribers or something like that. But that was the first video I ever put on YouTube. And it was a review of the campground that we had to hike into because all the research I did, I couldn't find enough information. And I was going to take my 6-year-old and I was like, how is this campground? You know, so I'm asking people
Yeah.
questions, couldn't find it. But that was a funny one when I posted that video and I forgot about it. And then just randomly I saw on my personal email address, someone said, "Is this Chris from HVACR videos?" And I was like, yeah. He's all,
Yeah.
wow.
That's
What are the odds?
awesome.
That's
That's the
awesome.
content I am here for. I'm all about it. I love just like disappearing. I love disappearing. It's my thing. I don't even
Yep.
take my kids anymore. I literally don't even take my kids. I just go and I mean, it wouldn't be safe for them to do what I do. I just go and I pretty much just go until I can't go anymore and want to go home. So,
Yeah.
that's what I do.
That's
I love it,
awesome.
Yep.
Chris
All right,
Stevens.
So we are
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
at. Oh no, you go ahead because I'm gonna just introduce Randy after.
Oh, no, I was just going to say Chris Stevens is the guest tonight. Guys, check out the YouTube channel, the podcast, everything he's on, HVAC Overtime, all that stuff. Check out his merch store, guys. If you got some of this awesome HVACR stuff, check it out. I've got some hoodies and stuff.
So let me
I got
real
a bunch too.
quick.
Yep.
The whole pineapple thing, right? It became
love
this
it.
running joke with me about a pineapple. What it started as is
Well, you're a
my-
swinger, aren't you?
Yeah, that's
Isn't that
the
what
whole
you guys
joke.
are swingers, right?
I
That's
remember
the whole
this
joke,
story.
right? And everybody
Yeah.
sends me pineapple stuff all the time. I get these
Brett
pineapple
explained it
things.
to
Like,
me.
blows my mind, right? But here's the deal. One time we took a family picture, okay? And Bill used to do this funny thing where he'd superimpose himself into my family pictures. Like I would post a picture on the Overtime group of
can
my
see that.
family going camping or hiking or whatever. And then Bill would like Photoshop himself into the back, like in a creepy way. But this one time we took a family picture and my wife had a hat on that she'd had for like 5 years. And she absolutely loves this hat, right? I think it's a Billabong hat and it had a
I
pineapple
love
on it.
Billabong.
Right. And so my wife we didn't know anything about the pineapple lifestyle and all this crap. Right. And so
Yeah,
one of the
right.
Overtime guys was like, "Bro, are you swingers?" Like just out of, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Your wife's hat. It's a pineapple hat." And I'm like, "What the fuck? Pineapple hat? Like, I
It's a
don't know
message.
anything about this."
Isn't it the upside
It's
down
upside
The
down.
upside
pineapple?
down pineapple.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? The
Yeah.
regular pineapple means hospitality. It's just about hospitality, but I guess hospitality and swingers can kind of commingle.
Well,
there.
that's why they flip it upside down. It's like a play,
So
you know.
it became this
Uh,
running joke. It was one of the Overtime guys. I don't even remember which one. They were making fun of me
Lord
because my
knows.
wife had a pineapple picture or pineapple thing. And that ruined my wife because she was mortified because she's like, "Wait, that means I'm a swinger?" Like, no,
Now she
you
can
know,
never
like,
look at a pineapple again.
oh my gosh.
Oh,
So
your
now
poor wife. My wife
Yeah.
would be
and
pissed.
yet you're bombarded with pineapples day in and day
it's
out.
hilarious. She finds it funny now at this point, but at first she was just devastated, like the whole
Mortified.
pineapple thing.
Aw,
Oh
she's
my
so sweet
God.
too. Like I can't even imagine.
I mean, how did you put a band-aid on that? Were you like, no, dear?
Oh
It's
no,
okay.
dude,
I mean,
my
how
I'm
do
not
humor-
a
you-
swinger.
guys, what you don't understand is my humor's with my wife is the same as the Overtime show. I go, "Babe, we're fucking swingers." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I go, "We're fucking swingers. Like the whole internet thinks we're swingers. This is hilarious." Like, and she's like, "No, it's not." And I'm like, "Yes, it is. This is goddamn hilarious. This is the best thing ever.
It's the
Like
best thing that's happened in a while.
ever." Like, so I just
So she
embraced it.
believed you.
Yeah. The time that I went and one last thing, and I won't give context, but just to leave this as a cliffhanger, the time that I went to the first HVACR symposium and I got invited to a cult, and then I found out that cult has a restaurant in Southern
Oh.
California that basically that's how they make money is from the restaurant. And then I told my wife, "We're totally going to this restaurant." And then she's like, "No, we're not." And I'm like, "I just want to go check it out." She's like, "No, we're not going to join the cult." And I go, "I don't want to join the cult. I just want to go to the restaurant. I want to see what it's about." See, she doesn't understand my humor. And I'm like, "I want to go." And she's like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Why not? I just want to go." So
It's
let's
funny you
leave it
say
at
that. My best friend and I actually infiltrated a cult once. We like
That's-
posed as being interested in it, and we infiltrated a cult. That's the thing.
Of course you did. Freaking Jennifer's done it all. I'm getting tired of you doing it all, Jennifer. Really?
Stick with me, kid. You'll have a real fun
Always-
life.
Always one-upping me. Cult
Okay,
member.
so it is time to bring Randy on. So for those of you who don't know, Randy Tarboli is the #1 fan of the HVAC Overtime show.
No,
and now,
correction.
Chris, you can
Number
correct
2
me. Yep.
fan. Randy is the number 2 fan because now he's the #1 fan of the Misfits of
Misfits.
HVAC.
Ah,
Right.
So
nice.
he has
So
now
we've-
earned the number
We've
2
swindled
fan
him away.
of the
We
Overtime
swindled his
show.
love. So Randy's birthday is today. And last year, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but I believe he was on the Overtime show for his birthday last year. Correct?
Sounds about right. He's been with the show for many years. So yes, that sounds about right. Very
Yeah.
good
I've
possibility.
been
So
seeing
he reached
Randy.
out.
I've been
ahead-
seeing
go ahead,
Randy
Ray.
for a long. I've been seeing Randy in the comments at the Overtime show and on the comments on my YouTube videos for a long
Yeah.
time. I'm excited about this.
Me
Yep.
too. So he reached out to the Misfits group and asked if we would mind having him on because his birthday was on Saturday this year. So we're going to go ahead and bring Randy on. You can go ahead and click the link, Randy, whenever you're ready. And
up.
if everybody just wants to pop him a happy birthday in the chat, there he is. Hey, buddy.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Ryan.
Hey,
What's up,
Randy.
Randy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, Chris. Oh,
Yeah.
Ryan, I'm not actually too far from where you are. Where
Oh,
I'm
wow.
I know.
my camp was actually in Grove City at the KOA.
I
Wow.
know. Randy is not too far from where I'm at. He camps in Grove City and is
Well,
actually
we had a camp now. We actually sold it because my grandma was sick at the time. And we had to get rid of it. She couldn't go up
Gotcha.
anymore.
but I'm always in Washington, PA, and I believe that's where you're at. It's a beautiful part of Pennsylvania. I do a
Yeah,
lot of
it is.
work down there, and I'm always thinking about Randy. I'm out at the outlet mall. I'm thinking, is Randy going to be shopping today?
Yep.
Yeah.
Am I going to run into him? And I've always
Him
been
and his
looking
little
out
buddy
for you,
Luke?
man. Yeah, and I'm real happy that you're such a fan of the Misfits and myself and the HVAC Overtime guys. So,
Yeah.
Randy, you said you had some questions for everybody.
Yeah. Ryan, about how long would a contactor typically last on an electric furnace?
Well, I would think at least 10 years.
Yeah,
Right?
I'd agree.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you
I would
remember
too.
me mentioning that buzzing noise that mine's been making off and on.
Chattering.
Yeah, it'll go like, "Ah," but
Yeah.
if you cycle the thermostat off and back on, it'll quit doing it, and then sometimes it won't be doing it when it comes on, but after it runs a few minutes, it'll start doing it. So I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah,
if
sounds like intermittent chattering.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would find that if the contactor is coming on and off and on and off, a lot of times that it gets worn out and you'll get
Yeah,
some
it
of
seems
that
like
noise.
it's staying on, but I think it might be just like a buzzing noise. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of times what happens with the contactors is, especially not the higher quality ones, and a lot of manufacturers don't really use the high quality contacts. So there's magnets inside of there, right? Because they're energized and it creates a magnet. And oftentimes dirt and debris will get underneath that and it won't
Behind
let
it.
the contactor make good contact. And so you'll
Right.
get buzzing going
It'll
on
go
inside the
brrr.
contactors.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking it is.
Yep.
And because it's been throwing heat good for about 4 years, and it's been doing that for 4 years, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
No,
a lot
probably
of
just
times
dirty.
manufacturers, there's a few manufacturers that make some really high quality contactors like the Emerson Sure Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Nordyne uses on their Miller furnaces. I'm not
not
sure.
the high quality ones. So most
Yeah, definitely
manufacturers
not.
don't use something nice like the Emerson Sure
And
Switch.
you would think
so
that they would, but they don't.
they don't. No.
I
Nope.
mean, on my package unit for my cooling, I don't hear no buzzing noise like that at all from it. I never have in 20 years.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And the furnace is actually 3 years newer.
Yeah.
Huh, that's-
Awesome.
Yeah. That's the newer manufacturing that Chris is talking about.
Yeah.
How they're
and
cheapening
Chris,
things for
I
us.
don't remember Bill mentioning about the ductwork that fell off my house last year.
Yeah, I do remember that.
That's
my
actually
goodness.
just from the package in it, and that also the ductwork that fell off is actually the flex duct going to the return to that unit,
Yeah.
not the
That makes
actual
sense.
underneath my house, because there's a flex duct that hooks under the metal duct underneath.
Right.
That's how it works.
Oh,
Yep. A lot of times when people don't fasten them together correctly, then that's what's going to happen. You know,
Yeah, and I think
people.
they use like big giant plastic zip ties is what they used. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
common if that's a common thing or not.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
yeah, that's
if
what you're supposed to
if-
use.
But if the ductwork fell off, maybe the zip tie got roached out by the sun,
Yeah,
perhaps.
that's what I'm thinking too, Ryan.
Yep.
It was on our old unit, but I think they just reused them on the new unit when they put it in an 03.
So the best
Yeah.
way would be to use multiple points of securing the ductwork. So
Yeah, that's what
typically
my
you're gonna
handyman that
use
does HVAC did when he
a
replaced it last year
screw.
for me.
You're going to use about 2 screws, 3 screws if you can, and then you're going to do a panduit strap, which is a big zip tie, and then you're going to do duct sealer. And the duct sealer is actually what's going to seal it and make it airtight. Now, most people don't use duct sealer because it's inconvenient and it's just
Icky.
difficult to put on. But
Whoa,
if you
whoa,
use-
Chris. I think we call that pookie around
Pookie,
here.
there you
It is
go. Yeah,
Pookie.
duct sealer
Yeah,
Pookie.
Thank you, Ryan.
Mastic.
Thank you, Ryan.
A lot of people don't use duct sealer, and to be fair, there's a lot of times that I don't use duct sealer because of weird situations. You just can't get in there to seal it, and that's
Or
one of
you
the
duct
things
seal
that
I
happens.
yourself
have
and not
another
the
question
unit.
too, Ryan. I have another question for you guys.
Yeah, go for
On
it.
a package unit, especially in the mobile home, is it normal to hear some compressor noise to the return air grill of it?
I mean,
It's-
you're gonna hear noise. It's a mechanical machine. It's a machine. There's moving parts. You're gonna have. You will hear some noise.
Yeah.
It depends on what the noise is and how
I noticed, like,
frequent
say
it
the
is.
Say the system's not running overnight for like 8 hours. When it comes on the first time, you'll hear the hiss is a little bit prolonged for like about 10 seconds, and then
Yeah.
it levels out, and then
That's probably
every time
normal.
it kicks on after that for that day, it doesn't do it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably normal.
Just
The
startup
hissing's
noise.
actually not from the ductwork. The hissing's from the refrigerant flowing through the
Right.
system, and it's resonating through whatever
hearing the flow.
moves, Yeah, you're just hearing the
Yeah.
flow. So as
That
long as
makes
it's cooling, I wouldn't worry too much about it, bud.
Yeah.
Randy, are those records screwed to the wall behind you? I see a
Yeah, they're
vinyl.
actually they're actually coasters. They're
Oh.
actually
Really?
Wow.
They're
Oh, that
they're
is
coasters that are
awesome.
bottom like that.
I like that. I do. I'm a big fan of records and
Oh, I am too,
record
Ryan.
players.
I even got the old-fashioned turntable.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Great.
Let me turn the camera around. Oh, I got one. That I don't use it anymore though because
Yeah.
I've had problems with the belts on it. So this is what I got. One of these.
Very cool.
Oh, that
I
is
remember
awesome.
those. Yeah.
One of
And
my
even-
favorite.
And it even
Go
has
ahead.
the cassette thing on the side, but it's blocked by the panel here.
That's awesome,
This
That's
Randy.
cool.
This one actually does CDs from records too.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, Randy. So
Okay.
how
ahead,
long
bro.
have you watched the Misfits show? Quite a while
Probably
now.
about since it started, pretty much.
Okay. So then the question that Jennifer is going to ask you then, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. What's the question?
Oh crap. No,
Hey,
no, it's like-
Randy.
yeah.
Hey, Randy. Do you wear Crocs?
I don't, unfortunately.
See, Randy's team,
Yeah,
good
team
for
no
you,
Crocs.
Randy. Good for you. There you go, bud. Because I don't wear Crocs either, man. You're on my team, okay?
That's awesome.
We're team no Crocs over here.
Yeah.
Randy, how has your birthday been?
All right, it's been awesome.
Good. I'm so
Yeah?
glad to hear that.
So today's your birthday, Randy?
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's what I'm gonna do, bro. Send me go to the HVAC Misfit. I can't even think. Misfits of HVAC at Gmail email address.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get your contact info. We're gonna send you a shirt, a Misfits of HVAC shirt.
Awesome.
And maybe a couple other things in there for you too. So
I'll
And,
throw in
um,
a couple things too, Ryan.
And
Yep,
Ryan,
yep.
Ryan will send me your contact information, and I'll get
Okay.
you some stuff too, Randy. Okay.
All right. That
Yep.
sounds like that sounds like a plan. I
All
like
right.
that.
Happy birthday, bud.
Thank
So
you.
Happy
I'm a-
birthday. Thanks for coming on,
Thank you.
Randy.
You're
Yep,
welcome, not a problem.
hey, I'm gonna need your shirt size as well. So send
Okay.
that over, and we'll get you some sent out, man.
All right, you said
Randy-
Misfit. Is it capital Misfit for Misfits, Ryan, or just Misfits?
Doesn't
It's,
in
matter.
general?
bud.
It doesn't matter.
It's just
Okay.
Misfits of HVAC at Gmail.
Okay.
Yep. I screwed that up.
It's all
Okay.
good.
Misfits of HVAC at gmail.com.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll send that email to you right now, Ryan.
Oh,
All
no
right,
problem. I'm
thanks,
looking
Randy.
forward to
Have
it.
a good birthday.
You too,
Happy
guys.
birthday,
Take it easy.
Randy.
Happy
Bye.
birthday,
Thank
bud.
you. Bye bye.
Absolutely.
Randy's
That's
always
awesome.
been a good fan and a good viewer. I gotta I
Absolutely.
can't remember when he started watching and whose content he started watching, but he's always been a good viewer of the show. So
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Absolutely.
And he's so welcoming too. I love that he welcomed me with, open arms, even though he was definitely all about you guys at the time. It's pretty cool. I love it.
Well,
Well,
I
good.
know that
There, I'm
side.
happy now.
I know that
I
side.
know.
Don't I?
I gotta go.
that
I have
side
to rescue
means
my
that
baby
Yep.
from her uncle.
I'm out of my drink and I need someone to. Nobody's home to pour me a drink, so I gotta go pour my own
You have to
drink.
go hire someone to live with you for a few days.
Yeah.
Chris, there was so much more I really wanted to talk with you about. Chris is a good dude. I mean, he's the king
Well-
of HVAC on YouTube. He's such a good dude, though. I mean,
you
really
can always have me on again, but unfortunately, I think it's going to take 4 months for you to get me on again because your schedule's
October.
so booked up.
and let me tell you, we've got some good guests coming up here.
Yes,
I'm
we
really,
do.
and I just,
Sorry
who the
about
hell's
that.
riding a motorcycle?
was
Pat?
Yeah,
that?
What
someone in
was
my
that?
neighborhood's being a jerk right now.
I was like, is that Chris's ghost? Because he's home alone right now.
Yeah, no, someone's out being a dummy out on the street next to me. So what a lot of people don't know is right here is a window to the outside.
Wow, it's daytime over
Oh,
there.
wow.
It's daytime out there.
Oh, that
And
must be nice.
about 15 feet over that way
can't.
is a street. So yeah,
I can't comprehend that it's daytime there.
yep, that's right.
Well,
All right, guys,
let
I
me.
gotta go rescue baby Sicilian.
All
I'm
right.
out, but you guys can stay on or whatever. I'll see you later.
All
Thank
right.
you, Jennifer. It was good
Bye.
hanging out.
Thanks, Chris.